Okay, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Agency Security webinar, part 1. Along the next hour, we will share the concepts of different security products and solutions, its applicability and benefits for your business. We would like, as I said before, to let you know that in November, we will conduct the second part of this initiative, so stay tuned for the news regarding that. We are still working on the details about the dates and time and also the agenda, but as soon as we are able, we will let you know and send you the registration form for that second part. So Leandro will share now the housekeeping details for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Carolina. Let's review the housekeeping details for today. The session will last 60 minutes. The lines have been muted in order to guarantee a correct development of the session to avoid background noises that may affect the quality of the sound and to make sure our presenters today are not distracted by that. Effective now, the chat window is active. You can send your questions or comment through the chat and we'll pass them through our guest speakers. Please make sure that when you do so, you select the option All Panelists so any of us, moderators and presenters, will be able to see it. The session is being recorded to be uploaded later in our YouTube channel and to share it with you later in the follow-up material. Within the next 24 hours, we will send you via email a supporting material set, including the presentation delivered today, the recording, and the link to the customer satisfaction survey. Now, today's agenda will cover the following topics: EPR keywords related to security, branch access, global security, and security for wholesalers.
Thank you very much, Leandro. And well, as most of you already know, both Leandro and I will moderate today's session. We are responsible for the marketing campaign team in Latin America and the Caribbean, and we are based in Montevideo, Uruguay. Our job today will be to monitor the chat session and pass the question to our speakers, as well as being attentive to any of your comments. And in any case that any of the questions that you ask are not answered, we will try to do it in the supported material that we are going to send you within the next 24 hours. Now, I'm pleased to welcome our guest speakers of today, Federico Gil and Camila Balestra. Both of them are product support specialists. So thank you very much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you, Carolina.
Cami, I will give you presenter rights. Now you should be able
Thank
to
you.
share your screen.
Tell me when you're all seeing the. Can you see it, Leandro?
It is still loading. Now we can see
Okay.
it full screen. Perfect.
Perfect. So the topic that we are going to talk about today is agency security. As Carolina and Leandro said, my name is Camila Balestra. I'm a product support specialist. And the agenda, the first thing that we are going to talk about is EPR, Employee Profile Records, and specifically the keywords related with security on that topic. And then after that, branch access on their different levels. So about employee profile record, EPR, as it sets the name, it's an element of a Sabre system security that governs the capabilities of agents using the Sabre system. And well, as you might know, it's the user that you use to access Sabre. It's personal and controls the functions that you can or cannot perform in the system. Here, what we see specifically is an example of an EPR. This example, the first thing that shows us is the name of the person who uses the EPR, the PCC, the agent sign, and here today we are going to focus on the keywords specifically. Here are some of them that you can see with the UAT next to the UAT, you will see the keywords and some of them that we are going to review today, like CCView, passtress, PNRL. And how it says here, it gives you the ability to perform specific functions in Sabre system. To add keywords here, we have an example of how you would add it. The HB is how you start a modification of an EPR. To do so, you need to be a create agent. That is a topic that we are going to review here. Then we have the authorization that usually you put your name and your last name or only your name. Then H/UAT/A to add a keyword, or D to delete a keyword, and then you close the session with HE. And then we see the result that this keyword has been added to this EPR. First of all, we are going to talk about keywords that are related to security. We have a lot of keywords that you can add, but specifically these ones are the main ones related to security. The CCView is the one that overrides the CC masking. This applies for everything that has to do with the reservation display, also with ticket display, WTR, WTDV, and profas. And then we have PNRL, that is the keywords that give you the ability to release the security of a PNR. That means that you can share that PNR with another agency to send it to another agency. Then we have no tickets that restricts you from designating a ticket printer. Here we see an example, for example, from doing W display AT. So it's useful to add that keywords to an EPR, a user that you don't want them to issue a ticket or assign a printer. Then the last one that we would like to talk about security is the non-AMX. That one restricts you from exchanging a ticket when there has been a name change. You will check the name of at the moment of ticketing in the issuance if the name and the ticket matches, and if it doesn't match, it will not let you exchange the ticket. Here we are going to talk about also about managerial keywords. This is very important because our keywords that should only have persons that have the responsibility, or the agency wants to give the responsibility to do update process that are for managerial information. So here you have access, that is the ability to open branch access. It's a topic that we are going to talk about in a few minutes. Then we have create, that gives you the ability to create, purge, and update EPR that includes passcode resets. Then we have submanager. Submanager is one of the main keywords for managerial duties, and it will let you do various managerial capabilities that we are going to go on detail in the next slide. Then we have passtress, that is similar to create, but this one only lets you do passcode reset. Then we have sub-AAA, gives you the ability to change into authorizes branch office. That means branch offices that have branch access. And sub-ACC, that is similar to sub-AAA, but gives you the ability to sign in into those authorized branches. When you have sub-ACC, you will not need sub-AAA because that gives you also the possibility to AAA. So you don't need both. You only will need sub-ACC. Here, what we have in this slide is a bit of a comparison between create and passtress. The create keyword, as I said, gives you the ability to create, purge, and update the EPRs, including passcode reset. And we have a very specific process to add that create keyword. It cannot be added, the agent cannot add it to itself or to another agent. You need to go through the Sabre Central to the tab support, agency security, and the create agent form. You need to fill that form, and someone from our help desk will call you to process that update. And when they call you, they are going to give you some recommendations. It's very important because this is about security. So obviously, we are going to give you some recommendations about how many EPRs create you should have. Usually, when you have 99, the recommendation or less, the recommendation is only 2. Then if we go a little bit higher, we have until 199. The recommendation is 3. And then we add an additional 1 per 100 agents. We should have 1 QA agent more. This is just a recommendation that we give, but it's very important because it's security and we don't want to have a lot of create agents on the agency. This keyword, the create one, you cannot use it with regrob, robup, pastres, and yes2dx and active. You cannot have it together. The comparison in between create and pastres is that pastres will only give you the possibility to do passcode reset, okay? And you should not have it together with the create. If you have it together, it will not let you do the create capabilities. It will stop you and you will have this error response that you will see on the screen. Here we have a comparison in between some manager and we are going to talk about duty codes also. So manager, as I explained before, gives you the ability to do various managerial duties. For example, activate or deactivate optional PNR edits, to make queue spectra entries, to make queue move, queue close, queue transfer, queue sub. Those are very important entries that you can do in an agency, and it's important to do it with someone that will have the responsibility that the agency wants to give that responsibility to this person, and also to print the daily summary report. Then we have the duty codes. There are several duty codes, but the most important here that we are going to talk about is the duty code 9. That is the one related to managerial functions. And you will notice, maybe if you have done some managerial entries before, that you will be asked for the duty code and you need to do SI9 to activate it. And it's seen on the EPR above the UAT or the keywords. Now we are going to talk about branch access. It's a feature that determines the different levels that your agency can connect with other agencies. And it's like the door that you give to other agencies to enter to your agency and for you to go to the other agencies. And we have different levels of that. The branch access provides you access to the agency records, to the customer profiles, on our full access to the pseudo city codes by means of emulation, and then depends on the branch access level that you have. This will include the rights of issue tickets, to view data, to display invoice and interior documents, to enter pricing entries from the other PCC. The branch access is updates are restricted to the same SC code. We are going to see on this next slide how to recognize the SC code. And the main thing that we need to know is that there are main 4 levels of branch access. We have B, C, D, and S. In order to activate the function, you will need to have keyword access, that as we talked about before, and duty code 9. Here on this slide, what we can see is how to display the SC code. We simply do a TJR display entry, and the SC code usually appears on the first screen. You don't have to do move down, and you see it like SAP SC code. So only when you have this kind of connection is when you can do the entries. The first level, B access, allows the system to access to other home pseudocyticals to your EPR records and customer profiles. The entry that we see here, the whiskey/TAAA, first your PCC, cross of Lorraine B, and the branch pseudocity code. And to have it reciprocal, they need to do it from both sides. So one agency has to do it from one side, and one agency needs to do it from the other side in order to have it reciprocal. If not, you will have it just from one side. The branch C access, it's what is called the AAA access or BC access, and provides the agency the ability to AAA into another pseudocity. And when you see it, you will see BC next to the PCC when you display the DCR. This provides full access to another pseudocity records, customer profiles, products, and fares. And Because you AAA into a branch office location doesn't mean that you will adopt their security access to other branches. So it will not give you that possibility. And here we have the entry that is similar to the other one, to the B access. You only change the B for the C. You need to have, of course, first B access to have BC access. And it's the same. You need to have reciprocal entries. You need to do reciprocal entries to have reciprocal branch access BC and to be able to do AAA. Here we have the D axis that it's similar to the BC axis, but it's more restrictive and gives you the ability to AAA into another pseudo-city code and to access to the profiles, their fare, and the PNRs. But what it restricts here, the D axis, that it will appear like BD next to the PCC when you display it on the DJR, is that will inhibit some keywords that are on your EPR. The passres, the PNRL, the access, the create, the CCView, and the submanager. That means that the user that accesses to your agency and has the access, it will be restricted on those keywords. So it will not have the possibility to do updates that that require those keywords. Those keywords will not function on the AAA that they will do. When it's used in combination with global security, the global security will always take precedence. And my colleague will talk about global security on the next presentation, so you will see that. Then the last one that we are going to talk about is this branch access S. This is a sign-in capability. It's called sign-in branch access, and allows the agent, as the word says, to sign in into another branch as it were of the same pseudo-city code. So only once you are signing in your locations, the agency will be able to perform any function that their EPR keywords allowed. It's like they are part of that agency, and it's like the highest level that you can have. In order to do that, you will need to have the sub ACC keyword that will give you that possibility. That is one keyword that we talked about before. And obviously, to be able to do it, you need to have B access already set up on the agency, both sides, in order to add S access, the sign-in access. And the entry is very similar. It only changes the letter S when we do it. Here, last thing that we have is a display of the DJR, and it's how we see those branch access. You have a part that it will say the following locations have access to your records, and then we see the BC and the B. Then you have the following locations access, so you will see what you have access to. And then we have the authorized pseudo-city codes and the pseudo-city codes you are authorized to view. Well, in the last slide, you will see the references that we use here, and when it's shared, you will be able to access, and that was used for this presentation. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much, Cami, for the presentation and the content shared. We have a couple of questions related to, well, to these topics. Let's start with the EPR. Can you explain a little bit the difference? Well, can you explain again the difference between the passres and the create, since we have several questions in regards of the passres keyword?
Yes, the main difference here is that the passwords will only give you the possibility to do passcode reset. You will not be able to modify or update or create another EPR. The create keyword will give you all the possibilities. You will be able to update, to create, to delete an EPR, and also to do a passcode reset.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And how can I make myself an admin to request the create capability?
Well, that is set up if you're the first on the agency, for example, you will need to ask your account manager to assign you as an admin on Sabre Central. But for example, if there is another admin already on Sabre Central, so you are not the first, that admin can access Sabre Central in the agency tab. And then I think it's my agency and agency security. I can tell you exactly later which exactly is the tab, but the tab is my agency. And then you will be able to manage your admin. All the EPRs of your agency will be there, and you can select the one that you want to be admin, and you can give rights to another EPR for that.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much, Cami. I think Carolina has some questions as well.
Yes, I do. In fact, there are some questions regarding branch access here. So one of our customers is asking, if I want to assign branch access D type, D as in Delta, is it necessary to have branch access C already set up?
No, I think you only need to have BC, but if you, I would like to corroborate that. So let me answer to you after that meeting. I think you only need to have a B access, but let me corroborate if you don't need a C access.
Okay, thank you. We will follow up on that.
Yes.
The next question regarding branch access as well is if once it is set up, will all agents have access to all the bookings of the other agency?
With which branch access? With B or with C?
It's a generic one.
Generic question. No, in fact, yes, you will be able to see all the order reservations, either with B or with BC.
Okay, thank you. And
Unless,
sorry,
Karina,
yes,
let me
go ahead.
add something. Unless you have global security, that it's something that it's going to talk about Federico, where you can obviously choose by DK number or by EPR to who you can restrict, for example. You can combine that.
Okay, thank you very much. And regarding the types of branch access that you showed that exist, which is the safest one for an agency?
I think that the safest one will be just to have B because you don't have AAA access and you don't have sign-in access. So it will be just the safest level there.
Okay, thank you very much, Camila. There are no further questions, so I think that we can continue with Federico.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cami.
Thank you, Carolina.
Fede,
Oh,
I
sorry.
will give you no, no problem. I will give you presenter rights, Fede.
Perfect. There we go. Let me share. Thank you everybody for participating, and thank you, Camila, for your presentation. As you might already be aware of, my name is Federico, and I'm going to be continuing with another product that is called Global Security. After you confirm that you can see my screen.
We can see it.
Perfect. Let me make it full screen. And we are going to start with Global Security, which is another product that allows viewership and update capabilities for PNRs and Sabre profiles amongst agencies. Okay, it's similar to branch access, but we will see that it's more for specific PNRs and Sabre profiles. It actually grants access to some or all PNRs for some or all agents of a different PCC without having to open branch access. Okay, we can configure to give access to all PNRs, to all agents of another PCC, or specific PNRs or to specific agents. It is actually reflected in the GJR, okay, in the travel journal record, which is the profile of the agency, as Camila already mentioned. And we can verify it by doing the same entry as we verify branch access, whiskey/Tango Alpha, display, and the PCC. And we can actually move down with a /global to verify if it's currently active or not in your PCC. It's worth noting that global security is a billable product. Okay, so any questions concerning its charge or contract matters should be directed to your account executive. Okay, because you need to contract it through Sabre Central as well. So as I already mentioned, you can only view, you can grant access to only view or to view and update all PNRs, specific PNRs, specific PNR fields, okay, and then specific agents who can display and or update from the other PCC, of course, specific groups of PCCs who will have the same capabilities as other PCCs, and as well Sabre profiles, okay. It's also worth noting that when you grant viewership to a specific PNR, you're restricting viewership to all other PNRs, okay? So in case you already have branch access set or something, you need to know that all other PNRs won't be available for the other PCC when you set up global security. Why? Because as we see here, global security has priority over branch access, okay? This is a part of the logic on how global security works. And if you have both functionalities set up, global security has priority over the other one. It's also good to know that one PCC and one agent sign can be granted per entry. Okay, so if we want to grant access to several PCCs and or several agents in one PCC, we need to perform several entries. PNRs must be displayed by PNR locator or by flight date name from the PCC that we are granting access to. Okay, and there we have examples of formats that we can do if we are the PCC who is being granted access to. And global security does not override restrictions or keywords in the EPR. Okay, as opposed to branch access, the keywords or any restrictions that the EPR might have has priority over global security in this case. About granting or revoking access, we can see that right to the bottom left corner of the screen, we have that GLS HET keyword and duty code 9 are needed in your EPR to activate this function and to make these formats to grant or revoke access through global security as well. Okay, and I mean these are actually generic formats that I like to show you. There are other examples and several miscellaneous options that you can see in Finder. I'll leave you the references at the end of this presentation as well. But basically the main format would be whiskey/GS, Gold Sierra, /alpha to grant access, okay? Then / the PCC that we are granting access to, / agent sign in case we are granting access to a specific agent. Otherwise, we can use ALLOTH, okay, ALLOTH, to grant access to all agents from that PCC. And then we move on to the granting functions and miscellaneous options. And here we have an example. Okay, we are going to see the granting functions in a bit. And miscellaneous options, as I already mentioned, there's a list on Finder, and I'll show you how to see them on Sabre, within Sabre as well. About the granting functions, these are the 5 main functions that we can assign. There are other 2 that we can mention as well, but this is the main ones that you will be using in case you want to make use of this product. In the case of *V and PNRV, it gives the ability to only view all Sabre profiles if we use *V, and PNRs or specified fields if we use PNRV. Okay, this is to only view. It does not allow to display PNR history or make any modifications to reservations or profiles. As opposed to that, if we use *U as in update or PNRU, it gives the ability to view and update all Sabre profiles or PNRs. Okay, it also allows issuing tickets and displaying PNR history. Okay, so *V PNRV to only view, *U PNRU to view and update. And then we have all-doc, which is actually used along with PNR view, is to not only grant the ability to view PNRs, but also to issue tickets. Okay, no PNR fields will be, you won't be able to modify any PNR field, but you will be able to issue tickets if you are from the other PCC when providing, when granting access with all dog as well. Here's an example of the system response when we do any of those entries that we already mentioned. As we see, the system first says that the global security status was modified with the information that we added in the format. In this case, we are granting access to agent Tango Echo from PCC 1 Charlie Papa 2. And it's access to only view PNRs, okay? We are not specifying any field in particular, so we are granting access to all the PNR fields, but to view only, not to update, okay? We will have the same information, and at the bottom we will see the fields. In this case, there's all the fields available because we are granting access to all the fields, but you will see that the specific fields in a PNR are identified by either a letter or a number, okay? I'll show you the list in a bit. When we revoke access from a PNR, we do the format whiskey / golf sugar / delta, as in delete, / PCC. And it behaves the same way that the format to void tickets. Okay, when you enter the format one time, the system will ask you to repeat the format as a confirmation, and then it deletes the access. We can also verify the current status of global security, okay, by doing whiskey /gs /status, and it will tell you which PCCs has currently access through global security to your records or specific records, okay? And also, if we add a /help to the same format, it will show us a list of all the available PNR fields with their specific code that identifies it to use as a miscellaneous option. So this is a way, I mean, we have the list in Finder in Sabre Central, but you can also access it through Sabre itself by doing that format. And then, I mean, that's all for global security. I don't know, Leandro, if you have some questions regarding this, perhaps to.
Yes, actually, we have one question in regards to global security so far. And let me. I know that you already mentioned, and Camilo also, about the branch access and the global security, but can we remind our customers again, since the question is, can we activate global security if branch access already exists? Maybe specify which could be what would happen if those two products coexist?
Yes, actually, you can actually activate both products at the same time. But as I already said, global security's rules, let's say, have priority over branch access. So, for instance, if branch access grants access to every PNR in a PCC, and then you set up global security for that same PCC for a specific PNR, the other PCC will be able to only view that specific PNR. So branch access capabilities will not be in action, let's say. Perfect, because it gets overridden.
Perfect. Then that's the only question that I have from global security. Not sure if Carolina, do you have any other?
No, actually, there are no questions regarding global security, so I think that we can continue with security for wholesalers.
Perfect then.
Thank you. So security for wholesalers is a different product that is actually included in the basic Sabre package. Okay, you don't have to make a contractual agreement with Sabre to get the product. You can only activate it, and we will see how in a bit. And it's another easy and safe way to share your bookings, specifically to wholesale agencies for them to issue tickets. Okay. As an overview and like the workflow of this product, we have a retail agent, which will be the PNR owner, okay? That grants access to a wholesale agent to a PNR, okay? For them to contact the carrier and make the issuance of a ticket, okay? As we see, the retail agent is defined as the PNR owner. It never grants ownership or changes the ownership of the PNR. They will still be able to access the reservation, but they will be allowing the wholesale agent to access it as well. So a wholesale agent will be an agent who can view and issue tickets on behalf of the retail agent, okay? And then they are classified as either first or second level, okay? We can have one or two wholesale agents depending on how they used to work. About its benefits, it limits the exposure to potential security threats, okay? Because we are still remaining as the owner of PNRs. Reduces the need to open branch access to wholesalers, also named consolidators. Eliminates duplicate reservations between the wholesaler and retail by sharing the same PNR, okay? Reduces the need to release ownership of PNRs, okay? And it also makes sensitive passenger information not accessible by the wholesaler or consolidator. We will see that, for instance, information of the form of payment is not actually viewable by the wholesaler themselves. And it also secures wholesalers or consolidators' confidential fare and ticketing data, okay? Because most of the times wholesalers have specific agreements with airlines about being able to use a specific private fare, perhaps, that they are not allowed to share. So any fare information that is stored into the PNR won't be available to see by the retail agent. I already mentioned that you can actually turn on or off this functionality, this product by yourself if you have a managerial keyword submanager and duty code 9 in the EPR, because this is an activation at a PCC level. And you can do whiskey/wholesalers cross on or off to turn it on and off. And cross of Lorraine display, as we see here, is the same format, only changes the information after the cross of Lorraine to verify the current status. Okay. So if you have this keyword and duty code in your EPR, you will be able to activate this functionality and start using it right away. About the PNR process, the only thing that we need to do is to add an authorization line to add the PNR that we want to share. It's a simple remark, okay, as we see in the identification code key, which starts with a 5, like every other remark, where we have the whiskey tango afterwards with dash, the PCC that we are granting access to, /on, okay, to make them be able to view the reservation and make the issuance of the ticket. It's worth noting that all these modifications, we can turn the authorization line on, we can turn it off, or we can delete it with a generic remark deleting format, okay? They are all taken into consideration after ending the reservation. So you need to receive and end the reservation for them to be updated in the PNR. About the restrictions for retail agents, once the PNR is ticketed by the wholesaler, once the ticket is issued, the owner of the PNR won't be able to view the PNR history, the SSR and OSI, okay, related to the ticket, the accounting line data, the store fare, as we already mentioned, the ticket image stored in Sabre's database because it actually shows the fare information as well. You will be able to see the electronic image of the ticket, although the fare information will be hidden. And the amount field in the credit card authorization line. As you see, they are all related to what the fare used to issue the ticket was, which is actually private for the wholesale to keep, okay? About restrictions to wholesalers, the wholesalers won't be able to view, modify, or delete the form of payment field in the retail PNR, in the PNR. They won't be able to issue invoice and itinerary or mini itinerary document as well. They also won't be able to divide or reduce a PNR. And of course, once the authorization line is turned off, the PCC will not be able to even display the PNR as a whole. Here I have an example where I turned the authorization line off for PCC 1CP2. And when I try to display the reservation from that PCC, I get secure PNR response. Okay. Remember that it's always mandatory to end the record after I do some of these modifications. And of course, we have a few resources regarding this product as well. These are all searchable in Finder. Okay, there are Finder articles that you can see to get more detailed information, more examples on formats. And of course, we are at order if you need anything else. So I don't know if you have any questions regarding wholesalers, but
Thank you very much, Fede. And we have a few questions, actually. The first one that is very easy is if security for wholesalers has any cost for the agency.
no, actually, I already mentioned that this functionality comes with the basic Sabre package. So as long as you have the keyword submanager and duty code 9, you will be able to activate it in your PCC. Okay.
Okay, thank you. The next one is if once this product is active, can anyone in the agency add the remark, or do they need to have any particular keyword?
No, they will be able to add it as long as it's active in the PCC. Any agent within it will be able to make use of it.
Okay, and the last one is if the agency or the agent actually uses security for wholesalers, do they still need to release PNRs with the format 6 change Tango Alpha /?
No, that's exactly the whole point of it. You won't be needing to release the ownership of the reservation for more security. I mean, you will make sure that you keep being the owner of the PNR by using security for wholesalers.
Good, and it's very good that in that way you are also avoiding making mistakes or typos that would send
Exactly.
your booking anywhere. So great.
Mhm.
Thank you for the clarification on these questions. And
Course.
we don't have any further questions, and I think that Leandro will continue now.
Okay.
Thank you, Carolina.
Thank
I
you.
don't have any questions on my side neither. So, well, I just want to thank the presenters, Cami, Fede, for the very clear and informative presentation. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank as well all the participants for for participating in today's first session of the agency security. This is the agency security part 1. We hope the information shared has been useful and added value to your business. Let us remind you that within the next 24 hours, we will send you the supporting material via email, including the PowerPoint presentation you have just seen and recording of the session. You can revisit it and share it with your colleagues that could not make it to the event.
Thank you very much. And of course, we will send you the link to the customer satisfaction survey. In fact, I already shared that through the chat, but it will be part of our supported material set. And as you know, it is very important for us that you complete it, as well as provide your candid feedback about this initiative and let us know which topics you would like to see tackled in the future. Rest assured that we will make all our efforts to bring these topics of your interest in our future agenda. Let's finally remind you to stay tuned for the second part of the webinar, Agency Security, that will be held next month of November. Thank you, Federico. Thank you, Camila. And thank you all, as usual, for being part of this initiative and for taking the time to be here with us once again. It will be until the next meeting. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you all. Take care.
Bye-bye.